Dito sa init ako kakapal sa pagiging hawar dito na isaklo sa puan ng sabi. Nasi na ano magdinang ako ang padnako ta bugta sa ko ta kawod ta kayo sa iniro ako sa iniro ako tundu dai.
Laro. Noong 1992, silong PBA Import ang gumawa ng 105 points sa isang game. Hey,
Kung titingnan nyo yung bundok na yon, may puno doon na parang cross. Yun yung mismo ang Kalakapan. Mga tao doon, ang kanilang livelihood ay kaingin, farming.
Bahari kang gabi ng tagat. Buka. Siya awanos ka siya ba?
Mandudok mo ko. Nagabo. Apit man ko. Mamo sis.
Asam jakit magmamama.
Landong. Sis. Baja, baja.
Banwato? Baja.
Sino? Narito daw si Melanie. Dito ka, Melanie. Sino ba? Si Teresa. Ayan. Magkakaalaman tayo. Okay? 5 minutes.
Samahan sa anak sa Espiritu Santo. Amen. Ginoo, panalangin ng gato pagkadawa ito na uwikan sa imong kumangyan sagon. Kinaya mong ipangayo, pinagin ng Kristo mong Ginoo. Amen.
Dito. Kawon. Kakayuso sa iniro kako, ibasibay sa iniro kako. Sundo day. Kandan. Bakandan bakad iyaw. Dakaong ko sa isa ko. Ang sa na ko kasi kamo ato daka do sa panhiburi. Kabataan to marayo sa pag-upa day kanito sa iya.
Kasi inawbiyan do mga diyo kandan so marayo sin brother sa father nung nasi no marayo sa paghipano rin.
Ipariyo ko ito maraot, ipariyo siya ko panulay na bukayang ko ito marayo ng panlawa.
Kasamaang ka sa Panginoon, panasani ka kayo. Isaday na kasiswanan, kamatayon ang nagayon.
Video gingkod.
So, hangtod no, di nita kapaminog sa kandan, kano kay man ugaling so pasabot kita. So, paminog kong kano kay so katuyuan dan. So, doon arok taman, marino mo.
Saan yagi? Di sunod ang. Saan kami pagpraktisan ta? Sige, dun sila arap saan.
Para Diyos, tumitiro, dinito ka namin balwa, barbaro'y kalakapan.
Umayang non-tribe are the main tribes here in Kabanglasan. They are indigenous people, IPs, named after the river, Umayam River, in whose vicinity they were staying, they were living. That's why they are called Umayam non. They live in thatched houses, walls made of bark of trees, and roof of abaca leaves and so on. At the mercy of the elements, they live scattered in their kaingin forest homes.
yung mga bahay. Kahit saan-saan na lang po sila nakadating doon sa ibang bundok, ganun.
Kabataan, kay bisan ka mga kagmay pa makagwanta sa pag
Kanilang mga anak ay malayo ang pinag-aralan.
mga eskwelahan. Ang among
Pumunta daw walang bahay na mayroong sin, mga kugon. Kasi ang tradisyon ng umat ay maglipat-lipat sa kanilang Dati, yung mga bata, hindi sila makapag-aral dito sa mainstream kasi takot sila. Pero dahil dito sa preschool program, na-prepare sila para mag-stay doon sa baba. And then for 6 years na nag-survey kami yung products namin, medyo okay naman kasi may nakapag-high school na, tapos may mga honor pupils kami. Talagang napakalaki ng tulong ng literacy program. Parang napakamalayo pa sila kasi sa civilization ba dapat sabihin doon. Nung bago pa lang ako doon, talagang pag nakikita mo nakakaawa sila kasi kahit ba yung face value ng money, hindi nila alam kung ano yun. So, kinakailangan turuan mo sila ng turuan. So, nakita na kulang nga talaga sila sa literacy. So, kailangan matulungan sila para yung hindi sila maluko ng mga taga-ibaba. Dun sa pagtinda nila ng kanilang mga farm products.
They produce rice, very good upland rice, but it lasts only around 2 months. The rest of the year it will be kamote and corn, and this is regular almost every certain parts of the year. They really go hungry, and so we have only one meal a day. You know, these people have never had any education whatsoever, so they really have very little knowledge of especially farming methods, better farming methods. They're used to doing their old cultural practices of Kainian system.
It's the practice of these people that when somebody dies, they leave their house or build another one and so on. And if in cases of epidemic, for example, when some children or people would die, they would leave the entire village and transfer it to another one. So they are semi-nomadic. It's very easy for them to shift from place to place.
These people are survivors. They have lived there in those conditions for many years now, how many centuries even, and they have somehow managed to survive. They are basically food gatherers. They don't plant things. They look for them and pick them up. It was good during this time when the forest was still not logged. Now with the disappearance of more and more of the forest, the forest is kind of serve as kind of their supermarket. They have everything there. In the villages, they have the dato system of government. The dato serve as judge for their trouble to settle cases among them, and also to lead the community. It's not hereditary, strictly hereditary. And it's not by election either. People just somehow gravitate towards a good leader, and then once he has a good following, then he becomes their dato. They still practice polygamy, usually limited to 2 wives. They're called Tuwai is the second wife. and they serve as servants practically. They do the hard work while the first wife, the senior wife, main is how in charge of everything. You know. Marriage is by pre-arrangement, so the parents are the ones who usually do these things. Dowry is needed, especially from the men, and the groom have to serve about a year before their marriage. Uh,
Yung pagmalaki, siguro kaya po manlupog si Kan, pati kasi pati.
Nagtrabaho ako sa Indigenous Peoples Apostolate. Apostolate yan ng Diocese of Malaybalay. After mga several years, pumunta si Father Matt sa office namin. Tsaka nag-ask naman siya ng help para tulungan din naman siya sa kanyang mission dito sa Kabanglasan for the Umayamnan tribe. 1997, nung first na pumunta si Father sa amin para tumulong. So at first, parang nag-recruit lang kami ng tao na medyo may talent siya sa pagturo sa tribe. Pick up kami ng ilan, tapos nag-train kami ng ganun.
Then nag-start ako, nag-apply ako since 1992, grade 4 ako po doon sa Canben. So nag-aral ako doon kay Father Matt. Graduate ako ng grade 6 hanggang 4th year. Nag-mission ako ng 1 year. Pagkatapos ng 1 year, school ako ng college, then 3rd year college lang po ako kasi nag-asawa.
Anong course?
Education, BA, elementary. Gusto ko pong mag-eskwela kasi makatapos kasi gusto kong tumulong sa mga kapwa kong lumad.
Nakita namin yung articulate sila, marunong din silang makipag-deal sa kapwa nila dun sa tribe. At saka medyo marunong din silang sumulat ng kahit konti lang, sumulat at bumasa. Para dun sa training, maintindihan nila yung ano ba yung laman ng training na gusto din namin ma-impart nila dun sa kanilang community.
My mission team is composed mostly of these people who I've trained and educated. When I started, I had to depend on some Visayan people around to teach, for example, because we started with teaching. Many of them were volunteers like that. But once these scholars we had graduated from high school already, and a few of them went to college, although not all of them were able to finish, we trained them to teach in the preschools. Many of them are young, but I have a few very dependable ones. I don't really have very much difficulty with my people, except a few who after a while give up and did not persevere in teaching. Several just started teaching, got married already, and had to leave me also. Like this year, I have two who started after a couple of months they got married. Of course, I'm very disappointed, but then, what can you do? You have to accept the given.
Ang talagang malaking program na ay problema namin sa program yung Kids and Order.
Kuning dato sa makilog.
Insurgency yata yung sa mga taga-kabila. Yun. Kung minsan, yung inter-tribe problem din, yung tinatawag nilang pangayaw. Pag ganun, parang malaking problema yun kasi nagpapatayan sila.
It's an order problems, maghahat problem. Maghahat is, when somebody die of violence, somebody kills, then the relatives have to avenge his death, and they would send maghahat, an assassin to kill anybody in the other in their enemy territory, not necessarily the aggressor, anyone, man, woman, or child. One woman gave out nganga to their neighbor, and by chance the woman died, and this woman who gave that nganga thought was accused of poisoning the other person. So the relatives said that the person had to avenge her death. They killed that woman. Now the relative of this woman hit back. And it went back and forth until 16 people were killed.
Ang ginagawa ng team, nakipag-dialogue kami sa dato, then sa community. Tapos kung pinakailangan ng medyo mas malaki-laking tulong, yung si Father Mat, pinakapunta na namin. Kasi pag siya na ang mag-resolve, talagang nare-resolve siya.
That's one good thing among them. They have a way of settling their problem. So they came together, they decided to settle the thing. Each tribe brought their own pig, and they exchanged animals, and then they went to a ritual, some kind of catharsis, I suppose, for them. They speared the pig and so on, and those who attend are duty bound now for fear of karma, gaba, very biblical. The sin of one is the sin of all. But the positive aspect of that, they're also very communitarian. When somebody catches a wild pig, it's shared with the rest of the community also. So at the beginning, I loaned crop loans for them, their corn fields. Also, I supplied them with farm animals, mga carabaos. But it did not work too well. I guess it's part of their culture, which is a very communitarian kind of thing. Everything is common in a sense. They're very poor in paying debts. They don't pay debts not out of ill will, but I suppose it's because for them, once it is given, it is given. It's so, and also they started animals would be used to settle cases, and before I knew it, most of the carabaos were gone. The crop loans did not succeed very much. That kind of livelihood encouraged them to plant things, but it's very difficult for them also to see. Aside from that, they live in very far away places, and the transportation is very bad, and so it's very expensive to transport their products. So I kind of gave up on helping them produce things for commercial purposes. Strange, they don't pay, but sometimes among themselves, they have a practice, one of the customs. If you owe me something and you do not pay, I'll get the carabao of your neighbor, and he will run after you. Now, I will say I did not steal it. When you pay me back, I'll give it back to him. Or sometimes, if a person doesn't pay, these are their bigger debts, then they would kill the person. A custom you have to accept, and so on, and gradually bring them up later, little by little.
Ikuko iya mga bato iya idaloyag ng suna umang matanday. Ikuko iya mga bato iya idaloyag ng suna umang matanday. Kainangan kut mga badat sa init na umangkid sa init oloblig pukaw sa ladok kalibutan. Koy na asdini.
Yung pangako nga na kayo sa ikaruan na.
At lumangin ang padmasa eh.
Madatan ko mo pa ka. Sibo ang tatlo mo boy bagkal.
Nung maliit pa ako at saka yung elementary, high school, hanggang college, wala naman akong plano mong pare. It was not one of my plans. I did not know the Jesuits at all. There were no Jesuits in Masbate, where I come from. My parents wanted me to become a doctor. So, pumunta ako sa UP, start ako sa pre-med. Tapos, I shifted to Bachelor of Science in Botany. During my stay sa UP, meron kaming yung pari doon, yung chaplain, si Father Delaney. He was a very charismatic priest. Marami kami na-attract niya to enter the seminary and to join religious life sa mga babae din. So after graduation, I went home to tell my parents, but they were dead set against. I had a terrible time trying to convince them, and I couldn't. I finally just practically ran away from home. Anyway, I was 21 years old by that time, so they can do anything to hold me back. And so I applied to the society, and I was accepted in the novitiate, and then that was the beginning of my vocation. So when I was ordained in 1989, yeah, my first assignment was to continue my studies in Los Baños to take a master. So after graduation from UP Los Baños, taking a master's degree, I was assigned in Xavier University. I taught for 2 years in the College of Agriculture. Tapos I asked to be transferred to the rural areas to work directly with farmers. I joined the extension service team of Xavier University in Maramag, Bukidnon. During martial law declaration, I was working with the farmers. We were organizing credit unions. Soon after, I was recalled to Manila, and of all things, very unexpected, I was asked to become a formator, to prepare to become novice master, to train the Jesuits entering the society. I was scared because I was not trained for that, but then Jesuit obedience, so I had to acquiesce, and they sent me to India, learn a few things about Oriental spirituality and others. It was good. It helped a lot in my preparation for novice master. I came back after a year, then I took over as novice master. So after 13 years in the novitiate, I was assigned as spiritual director in St. John Vianney Seminary, where I took care of how we trained diocesan priests for Mindanao. So after 7 years in the seminary, our provincial then, Father Noel Vasquez, just asked me whether I want to do mission work. This has always been what I wanted when I entered the society. So of course I grabbed the opportunity, so they sent me here to Bukidnon at that time to help out the parish priest here, an old Italian Jesuit missionary, Father Ferruccio Leone, who was very sick already. So I assisted him. That was in June 1996, and he died by the next year around February, and I took over the parish as parish priest of Cabanglasan, then Nuestra Señora de Guadalupe parish. But my real aim is really to work for the tribals, and there are many lumads here in Cabanglasan. At the beginning, I was looking for where they were. See, actually what happened was they left their original villages, two of their main villages, Catablaran and Calakapan, because of NPA trouble. They evacuated their place, and with the instigation of the military, some of them killed some NPA, and the NPA retaliated, and so the people had to evacuate their villages and come down to the center, and the others went to the forest, their forest homes. So when I came here around 2 years, they wanted to go back already, and I also wanted to work with them, so we agreed to. They asked me to help them resettle, and so that was the start. I bought, they needed food, of course, and many of their farm animals and implements disappeared when they evacuated, and so I tried to help them out, and so we began our mission. I did not really have a definite plan at the start of my work. I just wanted to work for them and so on. I asked what they needed, and we started from there. First thing that they want, after we have resettled, they wanted education for their children.
Excuse me.
Ang tribo ko po ay Umayam noon. Then dito, Sitio Maraging. Maraming mga nomads, lalo na dito at sa ibang areas namin na hindi makapag-aral, lalo sa Makilo kasi malayo ang elementary doon.
To go to Makilo is very, it takes me about 5 hours going up and down mountain sides and rivers to go up there.
Sana maturuan ko din sila ng adult literacy. Kasi dito sa sitio sa Mariging, ibang tao dito ay nakaalam lang ng pagsulat. Galing lang sa adult literacy.
Kasi ang mga teachers namin ngayon are products of the Fatherly Unisco, mga scholarship sila dati. So, sanay sila sa community, tapos taga doon din sila. Parang hindi masyadong mahirap ang implementation kasi sariling language ang ginagamit. Every month, meron kami once a month meeting ng mga teachers, tapos nagre-report sila, sinasabi nila kung ano ba yung mga kakulang doon, ano yung kailangan pang gawin natin. Tapos, ina-appraise namin yung lahat ng report nila, tapos nagmi-meeting kami, ano ba ang pwede natin gawin para kung may problema man, ma-solve yung. Pero dahil dito sa preschool program, na-prepare sila para mag-stay doon sa baba. And then for 6 years na nag-survey kami yung products namin, medyo okay naman kasi may nakapag-high school na, tapos may mga honor pupils kami. Talagang napakalaki ng tulong ng literacy program na.
They want their children to become teachers and policemen. All in one time. One parents in fact wanted the children to go abroad also. Some of their ambition, but mostly because they want to learn how to read and write, and so that and to count properly, so that the Visayans, incidentally we're called Dumagats, all those the non-tribals, we not cheat them in as they trade their abaka, especially in other products. So they want them to learn how to read and write so they can vote, and also they can communicate better with their lowland neighbors.
So good nga nami literacy school sa Maraging, nahimo na nga among kabataan nakahuman sa elementary.
Yung dumating na ang mission ni Father Matt, marami nang nakapag-aral ng high school, elementary, at natuto na rin sila dito kasi mayroon ng literacy.
Pero karon, halo isa Diyos, pagtanaw niyo mo sa kabalayan,
May housing na daw.
ang makita niyo mga atok sa balay. Nahimo nga sityo kini.
Lumaki itong Maraging kasi ang kanilang mga inyutang abilin, ancestral domain nila ay dito din ang kanilang mga magulang ay dito pumunta sa Maraging, yun ay lumaki. Pumunta dito galing sa Umayam.
Sa among ginikanan.
Karon na si Father. Nung dumating na si Father Matt, nung nagbibigay na siya ng housing, papasalamat sila, malaking pasalamat nila kasi natulungan sila para mahaon sila sa sa ganitong hirap.
I happened to write a Jesuit who was engaged in housing. This is Father Jorge Ansorena from Japan, a Spanish Jesuit from Japan. They have been setting up housing projects in urban areas. So I wrote and asked if would they consider providing housing for in the rural areas among these lumans who are living in these very poor housing conditions. He agreed, and I suppose we are the first here in the Philippines to get this housing for a rural housing project. As of now, there are about a dozen villages in Maygawan, Kalinga, of sorts. Also, this was 2000. I was able to get enough for 5 villages. It's a very simple and very cheap ones. We just supply the people with galvanized iron and nails we would spend about 10,000 per house. Those villages in the interior, once they saw their neighbors not only having houses but having education, schools for their children, they also kept coming. And so it's for several years now. Every year we would build houses for one community. Our present aim is more for food sustainability, that we would have enough to eat during the year, and we are working along that line. Luckily for us, about a couple of years ago, this Assisi Development Foundation, which is a very extensive work and experience with for Lumad in entire Mindanao. They have the Tabang Mindanao. They started during that great drought, and over the years they have developed, they have helped a lot of Lumads, tribals in different parts of Mindanao. So they have a much better resources and expertise. The Assisi is doing all kinds of services, so livelihood, ayan, water system, and they already set up one very good water system in Kalakapan. Even in education, they also are helping us. Full Ford Foundation has been supporting, it's a foundation in Europe, in the Netherlands. It's been supporting our educational program.
Sa unang panahon daw, may isang batang nagkasakit na ancestors namin sa una. Tapos, kahit ilang manok pa ang kinatay, hindi pa rin na gumaling yung bata. Tapos, may isang elder na may spirit na galing sa Panginoon na nagsabi na kahit ilang dosina pa daw na manok ang kakatayin, hindi pa rin daw gagaling yung bata. Tapos sabi niya, ang inyong gawin ay kumuha kayo ng baboy at gamitin ninyo yung agong at sayawan ninyo. Tapos pag hindi pa yun na luto yung baboy, yung bata na hindi na makakain,
kaya imbes di nakakaon, pero nakabangon.
Maglokobat siya eh. So tonga to. Uding to kumara.
It's really a shame to see invest our time to see people still living in not Middle Ages, but even in the primitive. Many of them are illiterates. Practically all the adults are illiterate. It's only now that their children are able to read and write. They are really in need of so many things, and the government is supposed to help them, but you cannot completely blame the government. They're even hard up, especially we belong. Cabanglasan is a fourth-class municipality. I do hope that the local government would begin. I was happy the health people tried. They had a difficult time. The doctor difficult time going up these mountains. But they need to go there. But the trouble is they don't go. So at least the infrastructure sana naman if the government can provide the necessary infrastructures to the people. Some possible roads as of now, most of them are unreachable by four-wheeled vehicles and so on. Later on, even livelihood help, because after all, this is the work of the government. The national government, of course, everyone says they can give us a little more funds here. The local government is there. The local government is very poor also, and to facilitate also the acquirement of the ancestral domain claim of these people. I would tell these people, it's a kind of a dream, and I said, what would happen to you here in Kalakapan, for example, and Miyaray, 50 or even 100 years from now? Would we be like, would we be from the city of Kalakapan or city of Miyaray? I suppose through education they're hoping for a better life also. It's a hope that someday, somehow, they will progress and bring with them the richness of their culture and so on.
Namino kalki kupalad sulubayuna anggum kisah malalanani suyod atuk dingki manggung tabalai ni dayunasta aman man kumayo mupanag pamana inayu aikid aman man kumayun haga panagpamadain uway kiid.
Alright, salamat.